You know that feeling when a place just feels wrong? Like the air is heavier, thicker, almost watching you. That's exactly what hit me the moment we stepped out of the car. The building loomed over us, 3 stories of rotting brick and broken windows, its jagged silhouette cutting into the night sky. An old asylum, shut down after rumors of mistreatment, deaths, and disappearances. Most people in town wouldn't even drive past it after dark, but we weren't most people. "Come on, man," my friend Tyler whispered, his breath fogging in the cold air. "We're seriously doing this?" "Of course we are," said Sam, the fearless one of our group. She adjusted her camera, the small red light blinking as it started recording. "This place is perfect. Viral gold." I should have said no right then. I should have told them all to get back in the car, that some places are abandoned for a reason. But instead I pulled out my flashlight and grinned. "Let's just make it quick." The front doors groaned as we pushed them open, the sound echoing through the hollow building like a scream. Inside, the air was damp, carrying the faint smell of mold and rust. Graffiti covered the walls, but beneath the spray paint, you could still see the original peeling white paint, like the skin of something long dead. We stepped carefully over broken glass and fallen ceiling tiles. My flashlight beam cut across old wheelchairs, tipped over gurneys and shattered tiles. "This is insane," Tyler muttered, sticking close to me. "If the cops catch us—" "Relax," Sam interrupted. "This place has been empty for decades. Nobody cares." She swung the camera toward a collapsed hallway where shadows seemed to shift just beyond the light. "Now say hi to the viewers, guys." We played along, waving awkwardly, but I noticed something Sam didn't. The graffiti here wasn't just random. Some of it looked deliberate. Circles with strange symbols inside, almost like runes. At first I brushed it off as wannabe satanic teenagers trying to spook each other. But the deeper we went, the more symbols appeared, scratched into walls, burned into wood, drawn in something too dark to be paint. Then we found the stairwell. The metal steps were rusted and slick, leading down into a basement that reeked of stagnant water. Sam was already descending when Tyler grabbed her arm. "Nope, absolutely not. Basements are where people die." Sam just laughed. "That's the point. Come on." Reluctantly, we followed. The temperature dropped as we reached the bottom. My breath came out in visible puffs now. The beam of my flashlight landed on something that made my stomach twist. A circle. A massive one, carved into the concrete floor. Candles, long melted into hardened puddles of wax, were arranged around it, and in the center lay a pile of bones. Animal, maybe, but I wasn't sure. Sam's camera caught it all, the red light blinking like a heartbeat. "Holy crap," she whispered. This is real." Tyler backed toward the stairs. Nope, I'm out. This is some cult stuff, man. I'm not dying here." I wanted to agree, but then I noticed something else. Against the far wall, half hidden in shadow, were dozens of drawings pinned up with rusted nails, rough sketches of faceless figures standing in a circle, arms raised. Underneath each sketch was a symbol, the same ones from the hallways, and scrawled across the wall in uneven letters, "We are still here." That's when I heard it, a sound from the darkness beyond the circle, not footsteps, not rats, a whisper. My skin crawled. Someone else was down there with us. Tyler froze halfway up the stairs, his knuckles white as he gripped the railing. Sam lowered the camera slightly, her eyes scanning the basement shadows. The whisper came again, clearer this time, like a voice echoing just beyond the circle on the floor. Words we couldn't understand, whispered in a language that didn't belong in this world. Sam raised her camera again, her hand trembling. "Hello? Why would you—" Tyler started, but stopped when something moved. A figure. At first I thought it was a trick of the light, but no. Someone, or something, stood in the far corner. The shadows clung to it unnaturally, as if the beam of my flashlight refused to touch it. It didn't move closer, didn't run. It just stood there, watching. "I'm serious, guys. We need to leave," Tyler said. His voice cracked. Sam whispered into the camera, "Oh my God, are you getting this?" The figure shifted, and for just a second the light caught its face. No, not a face. A mask. Wooden, carved with jagged holes for eyes and a mouth stretched into a permanent scream. That was enough for Tyler. He bolted up the stairs, his footsteps clanging against the metal steps. I told you. The figure took a step forward, The whispers grew louder, overlapping, like dozens of voices speaking at once. Sam's camera flickered, glitching as if the battery was dying, though it had been fully charged. I grabbed her arm. "We're leaving. Now." She didn't argue this time. We stumbled back toward the stairs, but when we reached them, Tyler was gone. The stairwell was empty, the door at the top hanging open. "Tyler?" I shouted. No answer, only the sound of whispers, growing louder, closing in. We scrambled up the stairs, our footsteps echoing like gunshots. At the top, the hallway was darker than before, as if the shadows had thickened. My flashlight sputtered, dimming for a moment before flaring back to life. That's when we saw it. More symbols, fresh ones, painted across the hallway, walls in dripping black strokes. But we hadn't seen them on the way in. Sam lifted her camera, whispering, "They weren't here before." I wanted to answer, but then I noticed something worse. The symbols weren't just random. They were arrows, pointing, leading us deeper into the asylum, and at the end of the hall, where the arrows converged, something glowed faintly, a candlelight flicker, and just beyond it, movement. Not one figure this time. Many. We followed, trapped, until we found a room. Dozens of candles burned in neat rows, their flames swaying as if in greeting. The walls were covered in more of the strange symbols, drawn in long spirals that circled toward the center of the room, and in the middle, a chair. An old wooden chair bolted to the floor, with thick leather straps hanging from its arms and legs. Dried stains coated the seat and dripped down onto the tiles below. "That's not for patience," Sam whispered. On the wall above the chair, carved deep into the plaster, were words: the body ice the vessel, the voice ice the gift. Figures appeared in the candlelight, 6 of them, each wearing a carved wooden mask, each mask twisted into a grotesque expression, screaming, crying, laughing. Their bodies were draped in tattered robes, their bare feet dragging across the floor as they moved closer. Sam gasped, clutching the camera to her chest. "Are you seeing this?" The masked figures stopped just outside the circle of candles. None of them spoke, none of them moved. They only stood there, tilting their heads in unnatural unison. Then one stepped forward, pointing at Sam's camera. The screen flickered, showing Tyler's pale, terrified face, whispering words we couldn't hear as static ate the image. Sam dropped the camera, and in the silence that followed, all the figures turned their heads toward us. At the same time, we ran. The building warped around us, hallways shifting, symbols multiplying on the walls. Eventually, we burst into a chapel. On the altar sat Tyler's phone, screen glowing, recording. I picked it up. The video showed him strapped into the chair, a mask being lowered onto his face. His voice shook. "If you find this, don't follow them. Please, don't listen. They want—" The video cut. Then the chanting started. The masked figures entered the chapel surrounding us. Their leader stepped forward, taller than the rest, his jagged mask grinning. The body iced the vessel. The voice the gift. The others echoed it over and over, until Sam's camera switched on by itself, showing us strapped into the chair, masks pressed to our faces. We smashed through a stained glass window, cutting ourselves as we scrambled out into the night. We ran for the car, the chanting following us, echoing from the asylum walls. The cult poured out behind us, masks glowing faintly in the moonlight. They didn't run. They glided, like puppets dragged by unseen strings. We made it to the car, slammed the doors, and sped away, leaving them shrinking in the rearview mirror. Only when we reached the edge of town did we breathe again. But in the back seat sat the camera, the one I smashed, the red light blinking, recording, and sometimes, late at night, I still hear the whisper. Not from the asylum, from inside my house.